Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot this bitch ass with the quickness. Now he bleeding, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Bizkit. All my niggas wildin', they done labeled us some misfits. Wake up every morning, 2 or 3, 5 in the Fitbit. Oh shit, didn't nobody come to see you old. It's some focus, shoot 100 shots, no reloaded. Master of the game, you would think I'm into coding. Memphis niggas spit this pimpin', mackin' like I'm golden. Ho, with my money, you gon' turn me to the old me. Say hi, first class flight, I'm in the nosebleed. Copy, cooking, whipping, shipping, till you count the proceeds. OG, I've been moving back niggas since 03. Low key, niggas hating, but they don't want no beef. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we gon' eat. Get jammed, get a lawyer, make it bunny, don't speak. Pour up, I need some more, nigga had a long week. Shout out to my plug, he showed me love, he out in Long Beach. I'm true geek, walking by myself, but left with 2 freaks. Ooh, we, nothing in they mouth and on they booty. Austin Power swag, yeah, baby, this is groovy. You can call me Money Boy, or you can call me Nudie. Hood niggas, churches, chicken, let me get a 2-piece. Top down, 2-seater, let me feel the 2 breathe. Gotta hold it steady, chopper, kick it back like Bruce Lee. Lately I've been in the zone, I guess I'm in my 2-3. Don't call my phone for nothing less than a QP. Feeling like the Migos, cause my bitch is bad and bougie. All my haters love me, all these bitches just some groupies. Came a long way, I like to introduce the new me. Standing on business like I'm king or like I'm Drewski. Call me Run Island cause I like my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. Call me Run Island cause I love my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. I never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Niggas talking reckless, shoot this bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Bizkit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot this bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Bizkit.
So cold, but I'm so hot.
Dope boys
I'm up in the trap, I'm dope boy.
with them knives.
The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Down 8 gram, headed straight to the block. Pirates, this water water till it's hot. Listen double up, turn a little to a lot. Right hand on the cell phone, taking order. Left hand 360 motor to a lot. Blue hollow tips, gas switches on the dot. State game, true sippers can't be stopped. Laughing at you haters while I'm thumbing through the paper. Says long at the bottom, won't you meet me at the top? The nigga ain't shit, yeah, get that a lot. Won't be deterred and I won't be stopped. Shaq Diesel number when I post up on the block. 24/7 cause the hustle don't stop. 31 flavor, take an order like a waiter. I be selling more gas than a local truck stop. 1200 strong for a pound to the top. Got me shining, I'm a star. Ask about me, I am legend. They gon' tell you who we are. Fuck these niggas, fuck these bitches. Get money, all I know. No love for these bitches. Never saving these hoes. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not.
When I'm thinking about the past, yeah, gon' get some knots, gang. we at the spot. If we ever was short, then it's back to the block. You probably get shot. Every day the sun change. We getting money, that's one thing that's never gonna stop. Real dope boys do what it takes. Playing high stakes, living to die. Do your time, keep it quiet. No matter who you are, don't get what you got. Stack it up, that's the bond to stay fresh. Oh, they think that you're not. Take a roll with a hoe, they gon' let you go. Somebody's gonna say you ain't hot. Just invest in yourself, don't worry about nobody else. There ain't no handout. If you say the same, put it on chain. Let them see you ain't tied down. Got a couple rain, did a lot of things. I ain't really gon' talk about it. Give me a trade, get you to go. She gon' show up and show out. So don't ask me what the dope at, cause you already your ground.
The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy not. Whole team shining, we stars, big dipping. Get a lot of haystack gang in the sip. Niggas ain't real, nigga. You gotta feel me, nigga. Smile in my face behind my back, you tryna kill me, nigga. You say you got beef, then what you wanna do? You screaming, fuck me, now nigga, fuck you. You ain't hard at me. Couple kick dough, couple robberies. Nigga get extorted, get aborted, he don't pay the fee. Posted in the north, got the 2 to 4 recipe. I be cooking chicken bit, not talking rotisserie. I got all my hater man, I know that they sick of me. Who the fuck he think he is, motherfucker MP3? I honestly pay him no attention. They up under me. Haters call me Visa cause I'm everywhere they wanna be. Ladies, man, catch me with more honeys than a bumblebee. Say she got a husband, but she always wanna suck the D. State gang, true sipper, who these niggas wanna be. I've been getting money since a younger. I've been pushing peace, stay strapped. Gotta watch your back when you're in the streets. Friends turn to foes, never know who your enemy. I was in Detroit, he ain't keep the same energy. West side down the slide, I don't think he feeling me. I was on some demon time, nigga talking about killing me. There no business, let's see all that shit that you gon' do to me. Come outside, why you scared? I thought that you been a G. We don't bluff, we pulling up, we different down in Tennessee. Riding through the city, I'm with it, I got my 9 o'clock. If it really fitted, let's get it, I got the gun locked. Green and white square, been serving them on the same block. Dime piece with me, she foreign, she come from Bangkok. Riding through the city, I'm with it, I got my 9 o'clock. If it really fitted, let's get it, I got the game locked. Green and white square, been serving them on the same block. Dime piece with me, she foreign, she come from Bangkok. I got an old school bitch, call her Aretha. Shawty so fine, shawty she a keeper. Smoke that reefer, preferred by the quarter. I do this for my kids, my sons and my daughter. Get treated like a king. Hoes call me sire. One look like Lotto, the other look like Maya. My plug, he ain't playing, he only talking the numbers. I cop it, whip it, and ship it. My money come in bundles. Different flavors of kush, orange, grape, and apple. If a nigga trap me, it's gonna be a disaster. Dope money and bitches, pimp robbers and snitches. It's all in my hood. My homies say that I'm gifted, I really can't complain. Shit starting to change, a product of my environment. Tell me who can I blame? Neck like a glacier, bought my shawty a bracelet. Money go glitter, that's why these niggas be hating. Riding through the city, I'm with it, I got my 9 o'clock. If it really fitted, let's get it, I got the game locked. Green and white squares, been serving them on the same block. Dime piece with me, she foreign, she come from Bangkok. Riding through the city, I'm with it, I got my 9 o'clock. If it really fitted, let's get it, I got the game locked. Green and white squares, they serving them on the same block. Dime piece with me, she foreign, she come from Bangkok. Riding through the city, I'm with it, I got my 9 o'clock. If it really fitted, let's get it, I got the game locked. Green and white squares, they serving them on the same block. Dime piece with me, she foreign, she come from Bangkok. Riding through the city, I'm with it, I got my 9 o'clock. If it really fitted, let's get it, I got the game locked. Green and white squares, they serving them on the same block. Dime piece with me, she foreign, she come from Bangkok. Whole team shining, we stars, big dipper. Get a lot of haystack gang in the sip. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Hello, Goddess. Hello, E. Brooks. Trying to see, can y'all see? Yeah, y'all should be able to. Let's see. All right. I think that's cool. Y'all should be able to see that. Um, where I left off, they was doing the James Earl Ray thing. That's what the rest of this is. This ain't the good part though. This is still wrapping up. They figured out that it was James Earl Ray, and that's who they saying. Let's they wrap up. I don't. That's not important. The good stuff is how they found him and all of that good stuff. Heard he was working with him, but we got to read it. I don't want to read any of this stuff right here. Nope. Nope. Don't want to read none of that. How y'all doing this morning though? Oh, it was something I meant to talk about that I can't remember it. Oh well. When it hits me, I'll say something. The Bureau files. Lucinda says she don't believe this. Good grief. Come on, come on. The King murder case. All right. Here we go. Here goes some good shit. Section 3, the security investigation. FBI surveillance and harassment of Dr. King, initiation of technical surveillance and COINTELPRO type activities. In order to reconstruct the actions taken by members of the FBI toward Dr. King, the task force scrutinized the basis for the initiation by the Bureau of any action with respect to Dr. King. During the review, it was revealed that on May 22nd, 1961, Mr. Alex Rosen, then Assistant Director of the General Investigative Division, Number 6, advised Director Hoover in an information memorandum per his request on Dr. King and 4 other individuals in connection with the Freedom Riders that King has not been investigated by the FBI. Memo from Scatterday to Rosen, May 22nd, 1961. The memorandum contained few references on Dr. King. The director commented with regard to the omission of a subject matter investigation on Dr. King. Why not? The substance of the report was forwarded to Attorney General Kennedy, and the FBI did not pursue the King matter at this time. Thus, FBI personnel did not have, nor did they assume a personal interest in the activities of Dr. King through May 1961. Furthermore, in 61, information in the Bureau files on Dr. King had only been gleaned from sporadic reports. And this particular report to the director was provided by Division 6, which had responsibility for civil rights matters. In the beginning of 62, the FBI started and rapidly continued to gravitate towards King. The sequence of events has already been reported in some detail by the Senate Select Committee, as well as in the Robert Murphy report, which you received in March 1976. The task force, in its review of pertinent documents, confirms these reports. In essence, the director communicated to Attorney General Kennedy during 62 and 63 a host of memoranda concerning the interests of the Communist Party in the civil rights movement, and in particular, Dr. King's relationship with 2 frequently consulted advisors whom the FBI had tabbed as members of the Communist Party. As a result of the deep interest in civil rights affairs by the Attorney General and by the Kennedy administration, These FBI reports had the effect of alarming Robert Kennedy and affecting his decisions on the national level. The net effect of the Bureau memorandum nearly culminated in the summer of 1963. Hold on. Gotta get some beverages and things. Kennedy suggested consideration of technical surveillance on King in the SCLC. Previously, the bulk of FBI intelligence on Dr. King was secured by technical surveillance of one of his advisors and from informants close to his associates. However, when Attorney General Kennedy was confronted shortly thereafter with the director's request for such surveillances, he reconsidered his suggestion and denied the request. Attorney General Kennedy, as well as several other department officials, were sincerely concerned with King's association with alleged communist members, since proposed civil rights legislation was then very vulnerable to the attack that communists were influencing the direction of the civil rights movement. Yet an affirmative program to gather intelligence with King and the subject was still considered ill-advised. However, a significant turn of events within the circles of the FBI hierarchy would soon reverse the Attorney General's decision, and without his knowledge, the FBI would also launch an illegal counterintelligence program directed to discredit and neutralize the civil rights leader. Director Hoover's demeanor towards Dr. King has been well publicized and is summarized below. Certainly, as the task force determined, this played a vital role in. See, Lucinda says she don't want to read this report, she don't believe it, but they admitting that they launched shit to discredit the man. They admitting it. They could have took that part out. They had to leave it in. FBI affairs, vital role in FBI affairs, as did the director's attitude towards the Communist Party. On August 23rd, 1963, then Assistant Director of the Domestic Intelligence Division, William Sullivan, pursuant to the director's request, presented a 70-page analysis of exploitation and influence by the Communist Party to the American Negro population since 1919. This report and Mr. Sullivan's synopsis showed a failure of the Communist Party in achieving any significant inroads into the Negro population in the civil rights movement. Director Hoover responded, "This memo reminds me vividly of those I received when Castro took over Cuba. You contended then that Castro and his cohorts were not communists and not influenced by communists. Time alone proved you wrong. I, for one, can't ignore the memos as having only an infinite is what the fuck? Infinitesimal effect on the efforts to exploit the American Negro by communists." I don't know if there was supposed to be a space in there or what. The director's comment had a resounding effect on Mr. Sullivan. 7 days later, he replied, "The director is correct. We were completely wrong about believing the evidence was not sufficient to determine some years ago Fidel Castro was not a communist or under communist influence. In investigating and writing about communism and the American Negro, we had better remember this and profit by the lesson it should teach us." Even more importantly, Mr. Sullivan also said in response to the action that he now believed was necessitated in determining communist influence in the civil rights movement. Therefore, it may be unrealistic to limit ourselves, as we have been doing, to legalistic proof or definitively conclusive evidence that would stand up in testimony in court or therefore congressional committees that the Communist Party USA does wield substantial influence over Negroes, which one day could become decisive. So fuck it. Without proof, we can't say that we already did a report that said, nah, they not influencing. But because we was wrong over here, we can't rule it out, even though it might not ever come, but it might. So we just gonna say, we think they may be. We ain't gotta have no proof or nothing to stand up in court or nothing. We just gonna go off a hunch. The FBI hierarchy had no written comments on this memorandum, either supporting or negating the assistant director's proposed line of action. Then in September 1963, Mr. Sullivan recommended increased coverage of communist influence on the Negro. The director refused and commented, "No, I can't understand how you can so agilely switch your thinking and evaluation. Just a few weeks ago, you contended the communist influence in the racial movement was ineffective and there I go again, infinitesimal. This notwithstanding, many memos of specific instances of infiltration. Now you want to load the field down with more coverage in spite of your recent memo depreciating CP influence and racial movement. I don't intend to waste time and money until you can make your minds what the situation really is." In commenting on a cover memo to the above Sullivan request, Director Hoover also stated, "I have certainly been misled by previous memos, which clearly showed communist penetration of the racial movement. The attached is contradictory of all of that. We are wasting manpower and money investigating CP affecting racial movement if the attached is correct." By now, the Domestic Intelligence Division was feeling the full weight of the director's dissatisfaction with their work product. Mr. Sullivan again replied on September 25th in a humble manner that Division 5 had failed in its interpretation of communist infiltration in the Negro movement. The assistant director asked the director's forgiveness and requested the opportunity to approach this grave matter in the light of the director's interpretation. Director Hoover sanctioned this request, but again reprimanded Mr. Sullivan for stating that communist infiltration has not reached the point of control or domination. The director curtly commented that certainly this is not true with respect to the King connection. One could now foresee that Dr. King will be closely watched by FBI personnel. In October 1963, the director forwarded a request to the Attorney General for technical surveillance of Dr. King's residence and SCLC office in New York City. This time, the FBI received authorization for technical surveillance, and it was instituted almost immediately. In addition, the FBI had prepared a new analysis on communist involvement in the Negro movement. Read that. A cover memorandum of this analysis written by Assistant to Director A.H. Belmont to Associate Director Clyde Tolson reads, "The attached analysis of communism in the Negro movement is highly explosive. It can be regarded as a personal attack on Martin Luther King. There is no doubt it will have a heavy impact on the Attorney General and anyone else whom we disseminate it. This memorandum may startle the Attorney General, particularly in view of his past association with King and the fact that we are disseminating this outside of the department." I need water and things of that nature. Hold on, people. I gotta read. The decree. So they just was fucking with them. They confused. Hello, Rio. Hello, Leo. They saying happy early birthday. Happy early birthday, goddess. Is your birthday like in a couple hours or is it a couple days away and they saying happy early birthday? Because if it's that one, they being weird, gang. But whatever. To the latter part, the director wrote, "We must do our duty." Mr. Beaumont further said the director issued his feeling to this position and added, "I'm glad you recognize at last there exists such influence." So did he make them change their mind about there being influence? Didn't seem like they believed it. Predicate for the security investigation. The security investigation of Dr. Martin Luther King and the SCLC was predicated on the belief that they were under the influence of the Communist Party, United States of America. The basis for this belief was Dr. King relied upon one particular advisor who was tabbed by the FBI as a ranking Communist Party member. This characterization of the advisor was provided by sources the Bureau considered reliable. The task force was privy to this characterization through both our file review and our September 7, 1976 conference with representatives of the Bureau's Intelligence Division. For security purposes, the sources were not fully identified to the task force. Therefore, the veracity of the sources and characterizations are remaining questions. The advisor's relationship to King and the SCLC is amply evidenced in the files, and the task force concludes that he was the most trusted advisor. The files are replete with instances of his counseling King and his organization on matters pertaining to the organization. Finance, political strategy, and speech writing. Some examples follow. The advisor organized in King's name a fundraising society. This organization, the SCLC, were in large measures financed by concerts arranged by this person. He also lent counsel to King and the SCLC on the tax consequences of charitable gifts. On political strategy, he suggested King make a public statement calling for the appointment of a black to the Supreme Court. This person advised against accepting a movie offer from a movie director and against approaching Attorney General Kennedy on behalf of a labor leader. In each instance, his advice was accepted. King's speech before the AFL-CIO National Convention in December 1961 was written by this advisor. He also prepared King's May 1962 speech before the United Packing House Workers' Convention. In 1965, he prepared responses to press questions directed to Dr. King from a Los Angeles radio station regarding the Los Angeles racial riots and from the New York Times regarding the Vietnam War. The relationship between King and his advisor, as indicated, is clear to the task force. What is not clear is whether this relationship ought to have been considered either a possible national security threat or CPUSA directed. We conclude that justification may have existed for the opening of King's security investigation, but its protracted continuation was unwarranted. Our conclusion that the investigation's opening may have been justified is primarily based on memoranda summarized below, written during the first 6 months of 1962. It is pointed out that in October 1962, the Bureau ordered the long-ass SCL investigation. In January, the director wrote the Attorney General and told him one of King's advisors was a communist. At this time, he also pointed out the advisor wrote King's December 1961 speech and assisted King in SCLC matters. In March, the Attorney General was advised that a March 3, 1962 issue of The Nation magazine carried an article critical of the administration's handling of civil rights. The article was ostensibly written by Martin Luther King, but in fact, the true author was another advisor characterized by the FBI as a ranking member of the Communist Party. In May, the Attorney General learned that the CPUSA considered King and the SCLC its most important work because the Kennedy administration was politically dependent upon King. Lastly, in June 1962, the Attorney General became aware that King's alleged communist advisor had recommended the second-ranking communist to be one of King's principal assistants. Later, King accepted the recommendation. The conclusion that the investigation's continuance was unwarranted is based on the following task force finding. The Bureau to date has no evidence whatsoever Dr. King was ever a communist or affiliated with the CPUSA. This was so stated to us by representatives of the Bureau's Intelligence Division during our September 7th, 1976 conference. This admission is supported by our perusal of files, which included informants, memorandum, and physical microphone and telephone surveillance memorandum, in which we found no such indication concerning Dr. King. The Bureau provided us with no documentation that the SCLC under Dr. King was anything other than a legitimate organization devoted to the civil rights movement. The Bureau files that we examined lacked any information that the alleged communist advice was dictated by the CPUSA or instrumental to the interests of the United States. Indeed, in early 1963, the Bureau learned through reliable sources the principal advisor had disassociated himself from the CPUSA. His reason was the CPUSA was not sufficiently involving itself in race relations in the civil rights movement. 3. King-Hoover dispute. The flames of Director Hoover's antipathy for Dr. King were fanned into open hostility in late 1962 when Dr. King criticized the Bureau's performance during an investigation of a racial disturbance in Albany, Georgia. Efforts to interview King by the Bureau were not successful, and the matter lay dormant for a time. The controversy was publicly rekindled in early 1964 when the director testified before a House Appropriations Subcommittee that he believed communist influence existed. I gotta get something to drink. I gotta hold on. Let me see what y'all saying. What it do, Neutral? What conversation I miss, E. Brooks? Yeah, let y'all talk shit so I can smoke and stop reading for a second. Talk y'all shit. But what I miss? You missed the conversation, nickel. You angry this morning, ain't it? Man, these folks can put some big words in this motherfucker. I need to start defining them right then instead of just waiting because I ain't gonna remember them later. I need to define them as I see them. I think I could do that. I'm not sure. On the cellular device, it would be a lot easier to do, but I don't know if I could do it here. Nothing. Why you being a hostile? Why you being a hostile in the chat, E. Brooks? Huh? You seem angry. Are you okay? All right, let's see. I know smoking and reading is not going to go well, but I'm going to try it. And the Negro movement, hold up, let me go back up. House Appropriations Subcommittee that he believed communist influence existed in the Negro movement. King countered by accusing the director of abetting racists and right-wingers. During November of 1964, the director told a group of Washington women reporters that King was the most notorious liar in the country. A week later, Director Hoover referred to I gotta put this weed out. Hold on, y'all. I hit it one more time, but I gotta put it out because it's just burning and this is not. Hold on. A week later, Director Hoover referred to sexual degenerates and pressure groups in a speech at Loyola University. Dr. King and his immediate staff requested a meeting with Director Hoover to clear up the misunderstanding. The meeting was held December 1st, 1964. Hoover claimed that he had taken the ball away from King at the beginning, explaining the Bureau's function and doing most of the talking. On the other hand, King apologized for remarks attributed to him and praised the work of the Bureau. Thus, an uneasy truce was momentarily reached. However, the controversy flared again when a letter was circulated by the SCEF, which referred to the criticism of Dr. King by the director and urged the recipients of the letter to write or wire the president to remove Hoover from office. In a memo from Sullivan to Belmont, December 14, 1964, Sullivan stated, "In view of this situation, realism makes it mandatory that we take every prudent step that we can take to emerge completely victoriously in this conflict. We should not take any ineffective or halfway measures nor blind ourselves to the realities of the situation." Y'all got to keep in mind, they were doing all this shit with typewriters back in the day. Everybody had to know how to fucking type. Everybody. We believe the persistent controversy between Dr. King and Director Hoover was a major factor in the Bureau's determination to discredit Dr. King and ultimately destroy his leadership role in the civil rights movement. Technical surveillance. Our review of FBI files and interviews with Bureau personnel substantially confirms, with a few additions, the findings which have already been reported by Mr. Murphy and the Senate Committee on Intelligence with respect to the electronic surveillance of Dr. King and his associates. We found that some microphone surveillance were installed in New York City against Dr. King and his associates, which have not thus far been reported. These installations were as follows: American Hotel, Sheraton Atlantic, New York Hilton. Dr. King was staying in style, wasn't it? Shit. All of these installations, with the exception of the placement at the Americana Hotel in January 1966, appear to have been unproductive, either because Dr. King did not reside at the hotel as planned, or the recordings made did not pick up any significant information. The installation by the New York field office at the Americana Hotel on January 21st to 24th, 1966 caused some consternation within the FBI hierarchy, and it's illustrative of how the Bureau apparatus could, on rare occasion, continue to function, even contrary to the wishes of the director. The installation was made at the Americana January 24th, 1966, pursuant to the request of SAC Rooney in New York. Assistant Director William Sullivan authorized this coverage. Bureau files indicate that Associate Director Clyde Tolson, upon being informed of the coverage, wrote back on the same day in a rather perturbed fashion to have the microphone removed at once. Tolson advised the director that no one here approved the coverage and that he had again instructed Sullivan to have no microphone installation without the director's approval. Hoover confirmed Tolson's directive. No symbol number was ever attached to this coverage, as was the standard practice. This is apparently due to the strong disapproval voiced by headquarters. Yet, despite Hoover's orders, the coverage was maintained, and a good deal of intelligence on King's personal activities was obtained and transcribed. These activities are reflected in a 6-page memorandum. Irrespective of the level of Bureau approval, which was required for electronic surveillance installations during the King years, our review reinforced the conclusions of the Senate Select Committee that the purpose behind this intelligence gathering became twisted. Several instances of Bureau correspondence are instructive. Section Chief Baumgartner, in in recommending coverage of King in Honolulu, urged an exposure of King's moral weakness so that he could be, for the security of the nation, completely discredited. June 5, Baumgartner to Sullivan. And a similar memo from Sullivan to Belmont recommending coverage in Milwaukee at the Schroeder Hotel. The Express proposed was to gather information on entertainment in which King might be engaging, similar to that uncovered at the Willard Hotel. Director Hoover, upon being informed of the results of the surveillance, ordered that they all immediately transcribe, dispatched Deloatte's recommendation that the transcribing be done later, as each of the file reviews has shown portions of summaries of the transcripts were widely disseminated among government officials. These disseminations include a rather comprehensive 6-volume transmittal by the Bureau in June 1968. This was at the apparent request of the President through Special Counsel Larry Temple for all information concerning Dr. King, including the instructions and approval of former Attorney General Kennedy regarding the electronic surveillance of King, to William Sullivan, blah, 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 setting forth the President's request. Included with the transcripts were several summaries previously disseminated in several hundred pages of Bureau communications to the White House from 62 to 68 regarding King and his associates. The purpose of the White House request was not stated, but it was the most complete accumulation of transmitted information on the electronic surveillance of King, which we encountered during our review of Bureau files. The task force noted the timing of the alleged White House request and subsequent transmittal, particularly in light of Director Hoover's communication to the White House on March 26, which advised that Robert Kennedy has attempted to contact Dr. King before announcing his candidacy for his presidency. The task force reviewed selected portions of all of the transcripts in the King file, as well as selected portions of several tapes from the transcripts which were obtained. An inventory of the tapes said below, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, we reviewed the tapes by listening to the beginning, middle, and end of each tape and compared it to the corresponding transcript. They were basically accurate transcriptions in the sense that what was in the transcripts was also on the tapes. However, some material on the tapes was not put in the transcripts, apparently, because either that portion of the recording was garbled or unclear, or it was considered unimportant. Okay, with 28 pages into 113. How long have I been doing this? Hit the cotton mouth. What it do, Country Thug? Oh my God, I touched a moth. I thought it was a leaf. It's a leaf, but okay. Leaves is when it's plural. It ain't do nothing but put a little chalk on you. That's all it do. I just had to rest my mouth. Yeah. I don't know if I said hey, Candy, but hi. Our review of the composite tape, the Atlanta tape, and the agent's handwritten notes included in the box with the recordings from the Hillard Hotel gave an additional indication of where the Bureau's interest lay with respect to Dr. King. The composite tape contained highlights of the 15 reels of tape from the Hillard Hotel and appeared to consist of little more than episodes of private conversations and activities which the Bureau chose to extract from the original recordings. The Atlanta tape was obtained from telephone tap on the King residence and consisted of several of Dr. King's conversations. These included conversations of Dr. King with his wife regarding his personal life and had nothing to do with his political or civil rights activities. The handwritten notes from the original Willard tapes contained notations as to what point in the tape a particular personal activity or conversation took place. COINTELPRO type other illegal activities. The task force has documented an extensive program within the FBI during the years 64 to 68 to discredit King. Pursuant to the Bureau meeting on December 23, 1963, to plan a King strategy and the Sullivan proposal in January 64 to promote a new black leader. The FBI accelerated its program of disseminating derogatory information, which is heavily fraught with the Bureau's own characterizations of King to various individuals and organizations who were in critical positions vis-a-vis the civil rights leader. Our review has essentially confirmed those already performed by the Civil Rights Division and Senate Select Committee, and we therefore do not dwell on those areas which they have already covered. We did find, however, additional proposed activities against Dr. King, some of which were approved by the director. They are instructive not only in revealing the extent to which the Bureau was willing to carry its efforts, but also in showing the atmosphere among some of the rank and file which this program against King created. In November 1964, the Bureau discovered that Dr. King was desirous of meeting with high British officials while in England during King's planned trip to Europe. Section Chief Baumgartner recommended a briefing for the purpose of informing British officials concerning King's purported communist affiliations and private life. Within 3 days, the briefings had been completed. One particular dissemination, the contents of which are not revealed in the files, was apparently initiated and carried out personally by the director. On January 22, 1965, the SAC in Atlanta advised Mr. Sullivan that pursuant to their electronic surveillance, the Bureau learned Dr. King had phoned Ralph Abernathy and complained that Hoover had had a meeting with a particular Atlanta official while in Washington attending the inauguration. According to King, when this official returned to Atlanta, he contacted Dr. King Sr. and passed on a good deal of information, according to Sullivan's memo to Belmont. Dr. King Jr. was very upset. The files did not reveal any formal proposal for this briefing, but Section Chief Baumgartner later speculated the Atlanta official was Chief of Police Jenkins, since the director had met with him on January 18th. The files do not indicate whether the director suggested the information he passed on to Dr. King's father. These niggas is nosy. Fuck y'all if y'all saying I'm taking too long and stuff. I've been reading for 40 minutes, my mouth dry. What sounds nasty? Hey, Brooks, why you fucking with me? You want to fight? What sound nasty? Okay. In connection with the post-assassination efforts to declare a national holiday in memory of Dr. King, the Senate Select Committee has outlined in its report the attempts by the Bureau to prevent such a declaration by briefing various members of Congress on King's background. We discovered that the Bureau also sent a monograph on King to the President and to the Attorney General in '69 for this same purpose. Pardon me. The Bureau's efforts to discredit Dr. King's movement also include attempts to damage the reputation of King's family and friends. The Bureau looked very closely at Coretta King, although a security investigation was never opened. This included scrutinizing her travels in an attempt to uncover possible facts embarrassing to her. These attempts also included a plan proposed, what the fuck, by assistant to the director Deloach and approved by Hoover to leak information to the press that Coretta King and Ralph Abernathy were deliberately plotting to keep the assassination in the news by claiming a conspiracy existed in order to keep monetary contributions flowing for their benefit, saying they was grifting. Robert Abernathy and Andrew Young also became bureau targets. Shortly after the assassination, the field was instructed to report any information on possible immoral activities of King's two associates. And they wanted to know if they were fucking hoes? Jeez. Presumably, there were COINTELPRO type purposes behind this request. The Atlanta field office, in attempting to demonstrate the initiative and imagination demanded by headquarters, proposed additional measures against Ralph Abernathy. The Bureau learned that after Dr. King's death, Abernathy may have voiced some concern over possible assassination attempts on his own life. The Atlanta office proposed the Bureau begin notifying Abernathy directly instead of only informing the police of all threats against him in order to confuse and worry him. Well, damn, this activity was not improved by headquarters. Playing with his brain. Bureau files indicate the FBI may have attempted to help the executive branch in its efforts to deal with Abernathy after King's death. In a memo to Associate Director Tolson, Director Hoover related a telephone conversation with former Vice President Agnew, in which Mr. Agnew expressed concerns over the inflammatory statements which Abernathy had made. The Vice President was seeking information from Hoover, which could be useful in destroying the credibility of Reverend Abernathy. Hoover agreed to the request. Hoover to Tolson. We did not find what information, if any, was forwarded to the Vice President. Finally, we discovered that a series of illegal, surreptitious entries, whatever the fuck, surreptitious, was conducted by the FBI. Some of those entries had as one purpose, among others, the obtaining of information about Dr. King. The FBI, in the review of his indices, was unable to locate records of any entries into the premises of Dr. King or the SCLC. Sheesh, that word whooped my ass. Yes, it did. Rested my mouth sounds nasty. Now, maybe your mind is just in the gutter. This shit is hard. Damn it, it was. Who y'all got in the Super Bowl? I'm picking the light skin. I forgot Super Bowl. Super Bowl is Sunday. I'm picking the light skin nigga. Ain't the Super Bowl this Sunday? I can't recall. I think it is. And they're not in the Super Bowl, so they can't win. That's impossible. You got to be in it to win it. The Lions. I want the Eagles to win, but yeah, I think Mahomes is going to do his three-peat. The agents began to retrieve information about Dr. King during these entries through the use of photographs. In one instance, a supervisor in the appropriate field office requested authority to conduct an entry for the express purpose of obtaining information about Dr. King. The proposed entry was approved at headquarters pursuant to a telephone call by an inspector and was later conducted. On 4 subsequent occasions, the Bureau again conducted entries and obtained information concerning King and SCLC. On one such occasion, a specimen of King's handwriting was obtained. The purpose of gathering this piece of intelligence was not revealed. Bureau policy at the time of these entries required the approval of such field requests by Director Hoover or Associate Director Tolson. We assume that such approval was granted. Handwriting notations in the field office memos indicate the Bureau was advised of the entries in each case. We also raised the issue of these illegal entries because aside from being violative of the Fourth Amendment rights, the entries ran the risk of invading a privileged relationship. We note in passing the FBI continued to employ an informant in the SCLC despite the fact the informant conceded to agents that the informant had embezzled some SCLC funds. The Bureau voiced strong disapproval of these activities, yet no legal or disciplinary action was ever taken with respect to the informant. Critical evaluation of the security investigation. In the area of domestic intelligence and mandate of the FBI, which both broadly and vaguely defined, it is stated in the Code of Federal Regulations as follows. The FBI shall carry out the Presidential Directive of September 6, 1939, as reaffirmed by Presidential Directives of January 9, 1943, July 24th, 1950, December, designating the Federal Bureau of Investigation to take charge of investigative work in matters relating to espionage, sabotage, subversive activities, and related matters. Given this charter and the history of the sometimes overpowering influence on the views of the late Director J. Edgar Hoover on his subordinates and on successive Attorney General, it was understandable that a security investigation should be initiated into the possible influence of the Communist Party USA on MLK. Two of King's close advisors at the outset of the security matter were reported to be communist party members by sources relied upon by the Bureau. The security investigation continued for almost 6 years into Dr. King's death. It verified, in our view, that one alleged communist was a very influential advisor to Dr. King, and hence the SCLC on the strategy and tactics of King's leadership on the Black Civil Rights Movement of the early and mid-60s. Another had no such weight, although he seemed to be of use to King, but this very lengthy investigative concentration on King and on the principal advisors established, in our opinion, that he did not sell Dr. King any course of conduct or of advocacy which could be identified as communist or party line. King himself never varied publicly or privately from his commitment to nonviolence and did not advocate the overthrow of the government of the United States by violence or subversion. To the contrary, he advocated an end to the discrimination and disenfranchisement of minority groups, which the Constitution and courts denounced in terms as strong as his. We concluded Dr. King was no threat to domestic security, and the Bureau's continued intense surveillance and investigation of the advisor clearly developed that he had disassociated himself from the Communist Party in 1963 because he felt it failed adequately to serve the civil rights movement. Thus, the linchpin of the security investigation of Dr. King had pulled himself out. We think the security investigation, which included both physical and technical surveillance, should have been terminated on the basis of what was learned in 1963, that it was intensified and augmented by a COINTELPRO type campaign about Dr. King was unwarranted. The COINTELPRO type campaign, moreover, was ultra vires and very probably in violation of the USC, i.e., felonious capers. The continuing security investigation reflects also the Attorney General and the division charged with responsibility for internal security matters failed badly in what should have been firm supervision of the FBI's internal Security activities. Do anybody want to come help me read this shit? Just curious. Anybody feel like reading? Lucinda, where the hell you went with your ass in my voice? This is perfect practice for you. Where you at? I ain't doing no Super Bowl party. I'm not. I want a good game though. I think the last game was the Super Bowl. Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Oh, it was two because that was the first one of their three-peats. So the Super Bowl 2 years ago was good. It was one of them last second. They only lost by a few type games. This time they got a running game. Both teams got decent defenses. Black quarterbacks. This is I don't know. I just want a good game. I don't care who wins as long as the game is good. I hated reading out loud when I was young. O.E. Brooks. Dun, dun, dun. Recommendations. As to the murder investigation, the task force does not fault the technical competence of the investigation conducted into the death of King. We found no new evidence which calls for action by state or federal authorities. Our concern is developed over administrative. Guessing that's supposed to be commitments of the crime detection tactics. The progress of such sensitive cases as the Dr. King murder investigation and the development of legally sufficient evidence to sustain prosecution are properly the ultimate responsibility of the division of the department having supervision of the kind of criminal prosecution involved. The division head should delineate what progress reports he wishes to. What the fuck is this? This is stupid. They just like to use words. As a corollary of our espousal of title department authority over the FBI, we recommend that the Bureau's public relation activities and press relations be controlled by the Attorney General's Office of Public Information. Clear directives to prevent the development of personality cults around particular Bureau directors and officials should be drawn. Bureau press releases should be clear to the Office of Public Information. The task force recommends that in sensitive cases, no criminal action be instituted by the Bureau without the closest coordination and consultation with the supervising division of the department. More bullshit. It was observed that almost no blacks were in the FBI Special Agents Corps in the 1960s and none in the Bureau's hierarchy. This undoubtedly had the effect of limiting not only the outlook and understanding of the problems of race relations, but also must have hindered the ability of investigators to communicate fully with blacks during the murder investigation. By way of illustration, had there been black agents in the Memphis field office participating fully in the investigation of Dr. King's murder, it is unlikely that the interviews with at least 3 black members of the Memphis police and fire departments would have been overlooked. It is also very probable that black citizen lead input would have been greater. Oh, this is bullshit. I don't dare read this. Oh, because the 5-year statute of limitations has long since, we cannot recommend criminal prosecution of any Bureau personnel, past or present, responsible for the possible criminal harassment of King. No evidence of a continuing conspiracy was found. The responsibility for initiating and prolonging the security investigation rested on the deceased director of the Bureau and his immediate lieutenants, some of whom are also deceased and the remainder of whom are retired. They are beyond the reach of disciplinary action. The few Bureau personnel who had anything to do with the King security investigation and who are still in active service did not make command decisions and merely followed orders. We do not think they are the proper subjects of any disciplinary action. Some of the activities conducted, such as the technical electronic surveillance, had the approval of the then Attorney General. The courts had not adequately dealt with what authority rested in the executive branch to initiate such surveillance in the interest of national security. We do not think the leg men in the Bureau should be held to an undefined standard of behavior, which less a standard not observed by the highest legal officer of the government. The Bureau's COINTELPRO type activities, the illicit dissemination of raw investigative to discredit Dr. King, the efforts to intimidate him to break up his marriage, and the explicit and implicit efforts to blackmail him were not fully known to the department, but nonetheless ordered and directed by Director Hoover, assistant to the director Deloach, assistant director Sullivan, and section chief under him. In our view, their subordinates were far removed from decision responsibility. Moreover, we think the subordinates clearly felt that, by reason of Director Hoover's overpowering and intimidating domination of the Bureau, they had no choice but to implement the Bureau's directions. Punitive action against the very few remaining subordinate agents would seem to the task force to be inappropriate in these circumstances at this very late date. The Bureau's illicit surveillance produced tapes and transcripts concerning King and many others. These may be sought by King's heirs and representatives. Worse still, they may be sought by members of the public at large under Freedom of Information Act. We recommend these tapes and transcripts be sealed and sent to the National Archives, and that the Congress be asked to pass legislation denying any access to them whatever, and authorizing and directing their total destruction, along with the destruction of material and reports and memorandum derived from them. The potential for abuse by the individual occupying the office of the director of the FBI has been amply demonstrated by our investigation. We think it is a responsibility of the department in the first instance and secondarily of the Congress to oversee the conduct of the FBI and other police agencies of the government. We endorse the establishment by the Attorney General of the Office of Professional Responsibility, December 9, 1975, as an effective means for intra-departmental policing of the Bureau. We also think the Permanent Senate Select Committee on Intelligence is an appropriate agency of the legislative arm to oversee the performance of the Bureau. Both the Office of Professional Responsibility and Senate State Committee should be expressly designated in their respective. Oh my goodness. It seems to us that the unauthorized malicious dissemination of investigative data from FBI files should be more than presently prescribed misdemeanor. A felony penalty should be added. Parenthetically, it should be noted here that it should be made clear that it is improper, but not criminal, for the Bureau to bypass the Attorney General and deal directly with the White House. The task force recommends the FBI have no authority to engage in COINTELPRO type activities which involve affirmative punitive actions following Star Chamber decisions with respect to citizens or inhabitants. We believe that the guidelines which the present Attorney General has established to govern the FBI's domestic security investigations effectively preclude these activities. These guidelines, moreover, appear to us to permit only strictly legal investigative techniques to be employed in full-scale domestic security investigations. This too we endorse. The foregoing comprises our report and recommendations, especially submitted. It's all the people that signed it. You know who any of these people are. 46 out of 113. Trying to hear the lost tape. Well, I'm trying to read the lost tapes. What is that? What the fuck is this? This is a map. Oh, these streets and stuff are still there. Ain't nothing changed. The fire station's still right in front of it. Okay. The room house is still there. What is this? It's the autopsy report. Man, the man's spinal cord was snapped, and you still got niggas talking about he was smothered by the doctor at the hospital. Crazy work. I don't know what none of this say. Gunshot wound to body and face with fracture of mandible and broke his jaw. Laceration, vertebral artery, jugular vein, clavine artery, right laceration of spinal cord, lower cervical, upper thoracic. Gunshot wound, cause of death, gunshot wound to spinal column, lower cervical, upper thoracic. Autopsy protocol. Date and hour of death, 4468. Date completed, 411. Laceration, remote scars is prescribed. Venous cut downs, tracheotomy. Blood alcohol level 0.01. He had a little drop of alcohol in his bloodstream. Some known. Oh, this James Earl Ray shit. James Earl Ray was getting money. What was he doing? He spent a lot of money for a nigga who wasn't working. And that's back then, so these is not little sums of money. And they were taking dance lessons everywhere. Traveling the country and taking dance lessons. $364, $54, $49. Okay, so is the rest of this just exhibits the little? Cause yeah, that's bullshit. Indian Trail Restaurant. Reading bibliography. Why do they have that on there? It's just a cover page. I don't know why. I wanted to have a fax machine back then. God, man, they got these just written. They got these just like they were sending them as emails or something. The boys and sit-in demonstrations have been associated with the NAACP and Congress. King has not been investigated by the FBI. Bureau files reveal King thanks Socialist Workers Party cited by Attorney General for support of boys boycott, attended meetings of Progressive Party cited by subcommittee, and was honorary chairman of Young Socialist League campaign on behalf of victims of racist terror. King in 1950s mentioned as potential victim of assassination plot. In 1957, attended Communist Party training school seminar and reportedly gave closing speech. King, president of SLL Leadership Conference to further Negro vote registration and advise the civil rights law. It's meaningless unless we go out and make use of it. King thanked Benjamin Davis Jr., a Communist Party official, for giving blood when he was in the hospital following assault. King in 1960 indicated his support for committee to secure justice for Horton Sobel. And on what the fuck? It's communist. And in 1961 wrote article in The Nation which called for integration of FBI to help speed integration. King attended meetings with integration leaders in Montgomery, Alabama, 5/21/61. What do you do, Chef? Um, Communist Party USA Negro question. References made to the enclosed material in which the director has written this memo reminds me vividly of those I received when Castro took over Cuba. I already read that already. They're just showing it now. On determining membership of Negroes in the Communist Party, we are not confronted with the same problems. We do not have here accurate yardsticks for establishing membership. Of course, our standards are very exacting. This means that there are many Negroes who are fellow travelers, sympathizers, or who aid the party knowingly or unknowingly, but do not qualify as member. These we must not ignore. The old communist principle still holds. Communism must be built with non-communist hands. Therefore, it may be unrealistic to limit ourselves to we have been doing to legalistic proof or definitively conclusive evidence. Yeah, we read that already. But damn. Jeez. I think this is all. Everything else might just be documents. stuff that we read. I'm just showing the documents. Yeah. I think everything else is just pictures. Where's the stuff out? Where's the recordings? First, I am sure we are all in agreement on the following, which was in both the cover memorandum and detailed brief. For the past 44 years, the Communist Party USA has spent enormous sums of money in ceaseless efforts to influence Negroes and make communists out of them. The 19 million Negroes in the country today constitute the greatest single racial target of the Communist Party. Negro leader Martin Luther King does have an extremely important advisor. There's some more of what we read. Who that guy was. This is ain't nothing good. What he was doing. More communist influence that they just tried to put there. They just made it go. How did they try to discredit him? Where is that? Now this is nothing here. And we getting towards the end. I ain't saying nothing more. Exhibit 12 classified. It didn't show anything. The Attorney General. Okay, we read that already. Don't have me read this shit when I could have just read it off the documents. What's this? No, they was writing to him in the jailhouse. Justice Department. Legal documents with James Earl Ray. Care about that. This second part was pretty boring. There's nothing in there. Yeah. Yeah, this is some legal document. Yeah, James Earl Ray, folks. This is, yeah. He tried to sue everybody in the case, $500,000. How the fuck did they put that in there? Who cares? $10. Barrel Staples. Somebody got sent $10 more. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that looks like that wraps it up. It ain't nothing else to go through. I thought it was gonna be some more than this. This is, I don't care about his court filings. I thought they were gonna give us some tapes or something. This was some bullshit. Plead guilty, all of that shit there. Yeah, underwhelmed. Definitely underwhelmed. I thought we were gonna hear about some hoes and things of that nature. We got none of that. We got none of it. None whatsoever. I see Truth is going live at 12. What time is it? Oh, she may push it up. I don't know if she will or not. But that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. They ain't got the recordings. That thought they was gonna transcribe the recordings or something. They ain't do nothing. They ain't trying to do nothing. So yeah. They got us with the second one. Donald Trump, you could have kept them motherfuckers classified, nigga. We need to see. We need to see that. We knew most of that. I'm trying to. What did they say or put out or do to discredit him? Because that's what that ain't in none of these reports. They said that's what they set out to do by doing what? What did they find on them? What did they report back? What are pictures and wiretaps? But all right, ladies and gentlemen, to the next episode, we out.
Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shooters, bitch ass with the quickness. Now he bleeding, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit. All my niggas wildin', they done labeled us a misfit. Wake up every morning, 2 or 3, 5 in the tidbit. Oh shit, didn't nobody come to see you old, it's some focus. Shoot 100 shots, no reloaded. Master of the game, you would think I'm into coded. Memphis niggas spit this pimpin', mackin' like I'm golden. Ho, with my money, you gon' turn me to the old me. Say hi, first class flight, I'm in the nosebleed. Hop it, cook it, whip it, ship it, till you count the proceeds. OG, I've been moving back niggas since 03. Low key, niggas hating, but they don't want no beef. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we don't eat. Get jammed, get a lawyer, make it burn it, don't speak. Pour up, I need some more. A nigga had a long week. Shout out to my plug, he showed me love, he out in Long Beach. I'm true geek. Walking by myself, but left with 2 freaks. Ooh, we nothing in they mouth and on they booty. Austin Power swag, yeah, baby, this is groovy. You can call me Money Boy, or you can call me Nudie. Hood niggas, churches, chicken, let me get a 2-piece. Top down, 2-seater, let me feel the 2 breathe. Gotta hold it steady, chopper, kick it back like Bruce Lee. Lately, I've been in the zone, I guess I'm in my 2-3. Don't call my phone for nothing less than a QP. Feeling like the Migos, cause my bitch is bad and bougie. All my haters love me, all these bitches just some groupies. Came a long way, I like to introduce the new me. Standing on business like I'm king or like I'm Drewski. Call me Ron Island, cause I like my number shoes. Yeah, when we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki.
Call me Run Island cause I look my love and choose it. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. I never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading sorry, baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading sorry, baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit.